Welcome to the Handmaid's Tale. That's right. It is Wednesday, July 4th. Celebrate happy whatever day you want. This is Rob for Smirking Gun Reviews, and it is the Handmaid's Tale, Season 2, Episode 12, the penultimate episode of the season, Postpartum. I was going to do an even bigger song and dance for Handmaid's musical. I was thinking about how crazy that would be, and I don't think it's even out of the realm of impossibility that something like this could happen. But anyway, I digress. So full spoilers for this episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And as always, I swear, sometimes a lot. So if you can't handle coarse language, get the fuck out of here. No offense, but I have tried to curb myself, but it just depends on the situation. So I actually had to rewatch some of this episode because I was kind of tuning out at the beginning. I had just come back from a doctor's thing, and I was kind of out of it. I was eating, and I was just kind of in and out because the whole beginning of this is really just the search for breast milk. They don't have enough. They don't want her there. Fred and Serena especially. It's really Serena. Doesn't want June there. So they're pumping her from wherever they have her in the place where they stash handmaids until they're ready to go wherever. And so it's just they're not getting much out. The separation of child and mother apparently affects milk production. Again, without kids, without a wife with a kid, I don't know these things, so I don't know how accurate it is, but I guess it has to be accurate for some part of it. Maybe it's completely true. Tell me in the comment section. Does distance affect milk production? I don't know, but it's just weird. For me as a person looking at it, without children, without knowing any of these details of what pregnancy, post-pregnancy, creating breast milk is like, I completely have no freaking clue. But yes, this is making things difficult for Serena, them having to go back and forth, and it's basically them trying to convince. A whole bunch of this episode is them trying to get breast milk. What's the best way to get breast milk? I don't know. Can I say breast anymore? So, Aunt Lydia, that fucking bitch. The whole thing with the baskets of muffins, oh look, people are really excited to get you because you've produced a baby. So, you're this month's, fucking rape girl, cover girl. Since you had one baby, everybody fucking wants you to open up your legs for the next, shithead family. But here's some bran muffins. Yeah, June and Aunt Lydia have this back and forth all the time, So June's I want a cake, and prideful girls get nothing. Fuck you, Aunt Lydia. But I'm actually happy because I sometimes you just want to be mad. I don't want Aunt Lydia to be nice. I want to just hate everything that comes out of her mouth. So they gave it to me. So they gave me that fuck you, Aunt Lydia moment. But again, I was tuning out because it's just how do we get breast milk? What's the best way to get breast milk? We need to have, June here offer it or whatever they want. It's just... It just kind of was what the hell? This is a penultimate episode, is the search for, Indiana Jones and the missing breast milk. So they go, they try where, Fred and them have the conversation at the house. And then Fred brings the baby with Nick to the place where instantly she starts lactating, like that. And again, I don't know, is that a thing? Look, ladies... I'm not trying to be willfully ignorant, but tell me, is that a thing where you just see your baby and you just start popping out, leaking? Yeah, goodness, it's good to be a guy sometimes. But they're like, this, if we're gonna have to keep doing this, okay, sure, we found out it works, but you're still gonna have to come back and forth and back and forth. And, so Fred's trying to still convince, you know, Serena, no, 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 just all this back and forth until, like, I'm feel like I'm going around in circles about it. So we also have Emily going to her new appointment, where we meet Bradley Whitford's Commander Lawrence. And Bradley Whitford, his real name actually sounds like it would fit in this, shitty fuckhead, Gilead way of thinking. But seriously, Bradley Whitford. They should have just went with his real name because it sounds like a character from the show already. But Bradley Whitford's a good actor. I constantly, every time I look at Emily, I'm just amazed at, how they've made Alexis Bledel just look so haggard. Like, she's not that old at all. I mean, I still remember Gilmore Girls, and even though that's, been a distance in time, she really, looks like more like she's 50 than in her late 20s, early 30s, probably. But this whole thing, this Commander Lawrence thing, let's just go through it right now because, the whole thing about, cutting off the hand for reading, there's another little insight. Apparently, if you got caught reading in the good old days, if they fucking took your hand, just, the literal interpretations that these people, these fucknuts have, of Bible verse and stuff, it just saddens me. But anyway, we also learn from Commander Lawrence's wife that he's basically the architect of the colonies where the people are out there digging up in the poison dirt. And that's where I'm really curious about, because Emily's smart. Emily comes from a background, and so Mr. Lawrence here also knows that. So I don't think it's a coincidence that she's there. And we're going to see a lot more stuff. And it probably won't even really kick in until... we're going to get some more next week in the finale, but I think that whole storyline is going to be in season 3. And I'm really curious of how that's going to go. So... And he's got that weird thing where he threatens to beat his wife and throws, she's nuts and he's got her locked up in a room. So the question that, we had 2 scenes of people talking about their the past and stuff, or things about, a woman's, talking about somebody's life. You have Lawrence talking to Emily, and you got Fred talking to June about, where she was in the house when they came. It's just kind of interesting, these 2 male, fuckhead hierarchy guys who have this, the way they talk, where their hypocrisy, they're just above it. They're so blind. Lawrence seems to be a little bit more in touch with his own insanity than Fred is, but we'll see how that goes. To mentioning that scene with Fred and June, you have to talk about how Eden talks to June about, they know about her affair with this Isaac guy, how she feels about this guy. And June basically telling her, in this world, if you find somebody you love, you got to take it. Which is basically June showing, either, again, massive amounts of ignorance. Don't say these things to these dumb fuckheads, because you're getting them killed. Or worse, if they do get caught, she can throw it in your face, somehow getting you in trouble for putting the idea in her head. But as we know, June's advice, she takes it, and her and this Isaac dude, they take off, which, fine. But in this world, they're not going far. Sorry about that. And, Nick's, where'd she go? He's worried about her. But, I mean, it's more worry, he doesn't want to see anybody get killed. But it kind of feels, again, like June put a terrible idea in her head. Like, what she's saying is true. But these dum-dums, they can't handle this kind of information. And so when she does get caught, but real quick, I want to mention the fucking hand that rocks the goddamn cradle scene. They went there. They friggin' went there. I can't believe they went there. This is difficult. I mean, I even way back in that old crummy movie, seeing somebody else breastfeed another person's child. In this case, some people might say, well, she's just trying to shut it up, because gosh damn, that baby's cry made me want to puncture my eardrums. But I also feel like it's just her own, like, she wants to feel close to this thing that's not hers, you know, and it just sickened, it just made me want to throw up. Yvonne Strahovski is a beautiful woman, but I hope to God that when the boob popped out, and pardon me to my entire audience that watches this, I'm going to be a guy for a second, because normally I'd be all for seeing a topless Yvonne Strahovski. But in this case, I really hope that that boob that popped out was the actual mother of that baby. Because otherwise, because they showed it. They really went for full-on baby on nipple action. And I was just like, oh God, please tell me this is the mother of this baby, and they didn't. They just filmed it so that you wouldn't know that it wasn't Yvonne. Because seriously, that is just, again, no matter what happens with Serena, if she has some sort of final crisis of conscience in the end and ends up trying to help June or other handmaids get out of this because of facing her own, like, knowing how wrong and the hypocrisy of everything that they've been doing, I still, like, this again just goes, Jesus Christ, you know, it's just terrible. Just terrible. But anyway, so let's get past that, because that really is, like, damaging to any kind of goodwill that anybody in this audience might have felt for Serena. That just, ugh. So anyway, we get to Eden is captured with Isaac and Nick trying to plead with her to just, look, man, just tell them what they want to hear. Just fucking tell them what they want to hear. Because you shouldn't die for this. You shouldn't die for this at all. Right? You're just a dumb fuckhead kid. You know, and you took the wrong advice. Take the punishment, don't die. But instead she decides that she's just gonna, this is love, and I'm gonna die for it. And that in itself is stupid to me. And I don't care about the meaning. Because this is just this fantasy world that we hope would never come to pass. So if somebody gives you the out, you take the out, okay? They're not going to clearly probably not put you with Nick. And even if they did put you back with Nick, at least you know he's a nice guy. And he's going to treat you all right, even if he doesn't really love you. And you're young. Good Lord, she's a kid. She has her whole life ahead of her, even if they, punish her. And I just, so they put the weights on him and they throw them off. They fucking push him off the goddamn, swimming pool high dive, which in some part of me, like I am right now, I'm laughing because that's just like, they used to do that to witches, but now they have pools so we can put them on the high, you couldn't just push them off the, into the pool. You had to put them on the high dive to make it even more dramatic. What to me just really looks like kind of silly. But then you have the reactions, and there is a few of them. And of course you see Eden's parents, and they are rightfully freaking just tore up. And then you have Nick, who's just like stoically cold, like I can't really think, like he's clearly feeling guilty, blaming himself internally, but he's still kind of blanking it out. You have June, who at first rolls her eyes like, this dumb fuckhead kid. Can I say fuckhead anymore? Anyway, this stupid kid, kind of like, why didn't she just take the deal? And this guy, the guy that's telling him, just, hey man, whatever words he was using, the priest or whatever numbnuts guy that was saying, like, hey, just do this. And, basically you're going to get in trouble, but come on. Or maybe they were going to still push him in or something, and they were going to like have their consciences cleared or something by admitting it. I don't know. But then the best is Serena's just sobbing. Just veins popping out, just sobbing. And I'm like, again, you have her breastfeeding somebody else's kid, and now she's crying over the death of somebody she doesn't really give a shit about. And again, she's seeing like the aftermath, the effects of their philosophies, their, the way that they want to live. Now we have children being forcibly, being executed by drowning for being in love with somebody they're not supposed to be in love with. And she's faced to see that maybe for the first time. But it's still, for me, the impact is nothing, because Serena Joy still, just because you see this and you feel bad, if you feel bad, then you need to start getting on the right path, even though I still want two in the back of her fucking head. No matter how good she does, I think a lot of us are in agreement that no matter how good Serena Joy can be, possibly in the future, she still needs to be gangland style, or ripped apart by horses. I don't know. Whatever it shoots your fancy in this little scenario of Serena Joy's death. And that's about it. The trailer for next week's episode, it looks pretty great. We do have at the end here Serena and June having their little, okay, you can be here, you can breastfeed the kid, you can help me out, because we just saw a kid drown. Whatever. Again, they have these quiet moments where you're supposed to like go, yeah, girl power. We both saw a girl die, so let's be friends for a second. I don't know. And we also had that scene earlier with Fred and Nick, and how, kind of a nut kick, that is for Nick, having to look at the picture that they're hanging up of the baby, knowing, all these little digs about, the baby's father, the parentage of this baby. There are a few digs in here, about the baby looks like its father in front of Fred, and Fred having Nick look at the painting, just little digs like that. So anyway, this is a really good episode. Again, just some crazy, terrifying, horrible stuff. I mean, I made light of these kids fucking drowning, but it just shows just how messed up these people are. How far is this going to keep going? Well, we know there's at least another season. I hope this is a 3 and done show. I hope they don't just keep dragging this out. But we'll find out next week how bad it's going to look going into next year. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share this to your friends, please, comment. I have plenty of people who like to correct me on things on here or give me new ways of looking at it, and I do appreciate all that. Again, we hit like over 1,000 views for this last video. We had 2,000 2 times ago, so hey, we got people watching. And anyway, yeah, so we will see you on the next video. We got comic reviews coming up, Preacher on Sunday, and a few other little things coming out here and there. So anyway, this is Rob, I'm Sparking on Reviews, saying thanks again for all the support and watching these Handmaid's Tale videos with me. And thanks for putting up with my foul language and my dirty mind, my dirty thoughts. And we will see you on the next video. Bye.